for tuning in to this show. I hope you find this half hour enjoyable and inspiring as we showcase regular people from the city of Detroit who are doing great things and really making a difference in our city, the city of Detroit. Good morning, family. Good morning. This is Stand Up Now with Cynthia A. Johnson, and you're listening to us on Gospel 1440 WMKM Reborn. We're going to talk about a little bit of politics, voting, the voting process in the city of Detroit. And today with me is none other than my friend, Miss Lavonia Perryman-Fairfax. How you doing, girl?
I'm fine. It's truly an honor to be here with you. I really thank you so very much for the invitation. This is truly a home for me.
It's been such a while.
It has.
But
it has.
Hey,
we're going to catch up.
You know.
Right.
But I'm so glad I reached out to you because I truly forgot about the homegoing this morning.
For Orthelia Barnes.
Yes.
Right. Yes. Over at Hartford Baptist Church.
And that's going to be at what time?
The viewing is from 11 to 12, and the homegoing and program as memories of her 12 noon.
What a wonderful, wonderful woman.
Yes, she was. She was. Awesome, talented, intelligent, and a kind friend.
Yes.
She sung at my wedding, so I have personal memories of her. And we have friends coming from all over the country.
Yes.
Katie Henderson. We have Denise Rollins. And if they're listening, they're from Washington, D.C. and St. Louis and from Las Vegas, all over the country. They're coming to say farewell to our very good friend, a very good friend of Detroit, Michigan.
Yes, yes. And, you know, just before we went on, I was just kind of saying to our family, our families, our community, that it's so important that we get our things in order.
You know what, and getting our things in order, meaning to say hello to people and have a good session with individuals. I even thought about, I'm in the process of finally moving my family all together, and I said every month I was going to have, I was just going to call people up and say, come on over. You don't have to bring anything, but just come over and say hello. We can drink Kool-Aid,
That's right.
tea,
That's right.
Whatever. It doesn't even matter. Play cards, boogie woogie, whatever. But
That's
we
right.
need to communicate and connect. We really should.
We have a very short life.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
And when we are born,
yes,
we are born really to serve.
Yes, absolutely. And in between that journey, we can have a good time with other family and friends.
And we will have moments where we will have disagreements,
Yes.
misunderstandings.
Right.
But it is truly past time that we reach out to one another, love on one another, because you don't know.
That's right.
What your next moment is going to be.
Right. Orthelia was actually over in the Virgin Islands, I believe.
Yes, she was.
And she was there to entertain, do what she does best. And who knew? I mean, none of us. She didn't. And here we are today saying goodbye to her. Such a wonderful person. Such a wonderful person.
Yes, yes. So let's talk about politics for a little bit.
Yes, and Orthelia was involved in her way.
She
really
yes,
was. And when you talk about politics, I always think of it as a community project or community, people coming together in the community to look out for one another in terms of their goals and objectives. And
Well,
how
that's
they
the way
vote.
it's supposed to be.
Right, that's the way it's supposed to be. And that's how I was brought up. That's how I think about politics. I think about politics as one person at a time, one community at a time. It's almost like one person at a time, one block at a time, one neighborhood, one community, one city, one state, one world. And it's like President Obama says that we're all in this together. Like him or not, he is on a mission. And his mission is based on his grassroots, and they call him a community activist. Well, rightly so. Rightly so, because if you are a true servant, political servant, you are a community activist.
That's right.
Right, in the true sense of the word. There are others who I always say you have to know the difference between a person looking for a job and a person who wants to serve. That's the difference between
yes.
Good politicians or not. And politician, the word is not a negative word.
No, it isn't.
Being a political activist is not a bad phrase. Those are not bad. It's how you use them and what you do in your community. That's the
right.
difference.
Absolutely.
Right.
We have so many people who are being voted in based on name. We even have a system in the city of Detroit. As a matter of fact, I had a guest on last week, Tom Barrow, Tom Barrow has been on this crusade, and I absolutely agree with him. He's about getting the vote counted correctly. And too often, that's not happening, not in the city of Detroit. What's your take on that?
Well, I'm not really aware of how they count. I know they count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
That's the way it's supposed to be counted.
Right. And in terms of it, if it's good or bad, what they do behind closed doors, I'm not aware of it. All I know is that this is the process that we have. It's the one we live with. And I would say that what I believe, the process has to start with individuals. If we are not in agreement with how the process works, we got to put people in office to make it work. What happens, though, is that we only have no more, I've been back home 10 years, no more than 20% of the people vote. So we will continue to have these discussions.
But that's another thing too. And Tom, if you're out there, I want you to call in. And anyone else who wants to join this conversation, 313-871-6094. We saw in the 2013 election, that mayoral election, Mike Duggan's name was written on ballot by the same individual more than twice.
Well, I can't speak to that, but how do we know that? And I'm with you. I'm there. I want to have this discussion because it needs to be discussed openly. One, when we decide to do these kinds of things, or we want to do the research, we have to have, it's almost like PR, it's almost like marketing. You have to have individuals who are back-checking, fact-checking, and they will get the word out. What happens, those folk who are saying and sharing this information get shut down or shut out. And then they say, well, how do you know? And then all of a sudden we can't find the information. Well, where did the information come from? And I'm saying that it could all be true. But the truth is based on...
it is true.
Right.
If Tom is out there, give us a call,
yes.
Tom. You could best tell us about what's going on. I did a recount. When we did our recount, there were several ballot boxes that could not be counted. Why? Because the seals had been broken on those ballot boxes. That should never happen, even if one seal is broken on the ballot box. The question is, how could that be? How can that happen in the city of Detroit or any other city for that matter, wherever it happens?
Well, are we talking conspiracy or what? What are we talking about?
Conspiracy.
Well, then it could be a mistake.
I don't know if it's a conspiracy, but I do know that it's dishonesty. I can say that.
Well, dishonesty on whose part? That's the question. Who would want to go in there?
Who has access to those ballots? Remember the time when Kwame Kilpatrick ran? And people were talking about ballot boxes being taken from one
place to another. Yeah, they have to be.
That?
Yeah, they have to be transported from the places to downtown.
What we have found out is from the polling site to the transfer station. That's what it's called. There is some fraud going on.
Who knows that, and can we prove it? That's the question. If legally we got to look at it. The question is, if there's right.
And I understand where you're coming from, but the question still remains.
Right. If you can't prove it, how can you say that it's happening?
We can prove it because the seals are not on those ballot boxes.
And if the seal is broken, they don't count those numbers. They don't count those boxes.
And they don't count those numbers.
They discard them. Everybody knows that.
They discard. The question still remains. How did those seals get broken? We know somebody. Well,
the people who are saying, me too. We know that if a seal is broken, and if you can't prove who broke it, your argument is mute. You can argue it from here to the next show, and you still don't have legal proof. Do you have a video? Do you have someone who saw it? Do you have someone who's writing the affidavit? That's where the crux is. I propose that one on the front end, if that is an argument, because I've heard this argument since I've been home, then we need to put somebody in office. That's where the energy should go. I look at be proactive. Get people in office who will watch over your precious vote. Then that's where the energy goes. But the energy going into, well, I think somebody broke a seal.
We don't have to think somebody broke the seal. The seal was broken.
Right. So
it didn't break by itself.
But they didn't count the votes in the box. So they
and
were
so
thrown
that means that hundreds, potentially of thousands of voters who went out to vote, their votes didn't count.
Absolutely. That is the part of the process. That's written in the paper already.
Their votes didn't count. So
Right.
because you didn't see the girl get raped, it didn't happen until you can prove it.
You got to prove it. Got to prove it. This is the country of law.
Yes, it is.
Right, and having a discussion about
is.
it's right. Having a discussion for 5 years, 10 years, and not get a person or people in office who can make a change, that's where the energy should go. Let us talk about how can we increase the number of people who vote and increase the
How can we do that?
Well, I've been struggling with that for the longest. We actually almost have to bust them to the polls and watch them vote. I mean, when you walk in, this last vote, there were like 5 people in line voting on proposal one. 5 people at a time. What's that about? And then all of a sudden we get upset.
I'll tell you what it's about, Lavonia.
What is it about?
It's about people not believing in the process. That's what it's about. It's about them knowing that their votes are not being counted. And folks are saying to the regular old Joe and Julie, you have to prove that you can find that there is something illegal or something fraudulent going on.
And then the same person who did not get up to vote that day will go to Discount Tires and try to buy tires for $300 and $400. There is a disconnect between the two.
Yes.
I'm saying be proactive. One, if you believe that there is a problem within the process, you have to be involved in the process to change the process. Having arguments about what we think happened.
You keep saying
I do, and I'm going to continue to say it because I have no proof.
We have proof
that the
doggone seals are broken. I will continue to say that.
That part is true.
And we need the FBI involved in this.
The FBI to talk about a seal being broken?
No, we need people.
FBI, we need people actively.
We need somebody watching.
No, we need people actively involved in getting elected to make a difference in the process.
Well, listen. Okay, let's go there. Okay, I'm gonna go there. I ran in 2014. Well, this last election. The person who I ran against did not live in our district. I took it to court. Case was dismissed on a technicality. Went to the Attorney General. He didn't say that there was no case, but he said, go somewhere else. Barbara McQuaid says, well, go to FBI. Everybody keeps passing the buck.
Well, they obviously did not find proof. I'm going back to proof and the law that this person did not live.
And that's not true.
You say that's not true.
No, we literally had the person served, looked him directly in the face. He does not live in District 5. He lives in District 6. He would not run against the person who ran for
He would not be in office today if that was true.
And it is true.
It's not true.
You know what? Stop saying it.
It's not true.
Y'all call in.
It's not true.
That is not. That is true.
No. And you just named 4 people who said dismissed everything that we just said. That 1, the first person on a technicality, 2, someone else, 3, somebody else.
You know what the first technicality? You know what the first technicality was?
No.
The fact that we came to court 10 days too late.
Well, then that's a problem.
No,
Hello.
the problem is
that's
when
a problem.
You have candidates running for office.
10 days too late.
No, here's the problem.
Got to know the process.
Here's the problem. The problem is when you have candidates who are dishonest and who
I wouldn't dare. I can't sit here and allow that. He's not dishonest. Nope, not at all. Absolutely not.
Well, you're in denial.
No, I am telling the truth, and I'm telling you what I know. Nope, not telling the truth. Nope.
You are in denial, Miss.
Not at all.
Miss Lavonia Perryman.
Not at all.
You're in denial.
I am very clear today.
No, you're not.
Very clear. This person is a righteous person, stand-up person.
You know what? You need to stop it. See, you know what, Lavonia?
No, I've been doing this too long, and I know individuals. You may have been
doing it too long, and that's the problem. We have people who have been in office for 20,
I know people, and this is
years,
an honest person.
I know that is absolutely untrue.
No, honest person.
Okay?
Right.
And
I will fall on the sword for him. I'm telling you, sure will.
You're going to start bleeding all over the street.
That's right. Blood will flow.
It's going. Right. You're going to be bleeding all over the street.
Blood will flow. Because no one
You're
yet.
Sitting here and that is the problem.
But no one has proven otherwise.
I proved it.
No, you didn't, because he's in office, and everyone said no. Everyone denied the idea.
So is Virgil Smith.
What about Virgil Smith?
So is many other people who are in office. It doesn't make. Listen, we have a process going on in the city of Detroit. I say
take a proactive.
We have a process going on in the city of Detroit where people, you've already admitted, so many people are not voting. Why do you think, what makes the vast majority of the people wrong, and the ones who are voting for the same old people over and over?
I keep saying if 80% of the people voted, then there will be a difference.
And they don't vote. Right. And I'll tell you, the reason that they don't vote is because the process and because the politicians and the candidates, so many of them are so crooked.
No, I would. I dare say no. Well, no, I disagree totally. I think that we as in the community have to be proactive. We sure do. Absolutely.
And
absolutely.
I love you just the same.
Yeah, same here. But not today, and won't be wrong tomorrow. Right. I am leaning on the sword of righteousness, and I am saying these people are doing the best that they can. I am saying my family, my neighbors who do not vote are the difference between right and wrong. They don't know about a process. All they know about, you get up on Tuesday from 7 o'clock in the morning to 8 o'clock. They have enough time to do that. That's all they have to do. That is their right. We fought for it, and for them not to do it, and then we have an argument about the politicians.
And then we have ballot boxes.
No.
Thousands of ballots that are disregarded. Their vote that they went out to vote for has been disregarded because seals have been broken.
And that doesn't mean that it was something illegal.
And because people don't live in the district that they claim they live in, and you don't know this to be factual. And I
don't know anything that we're talking about to be factual.
Right now, I'm going back
that is nothing that says that is factual.
I'm going back to the candidates who claim, and we need some background checks on all these people.
Well, they do have background checks on them.
They do not have background checks on them.
You've been doing background checks on people.
Right. I'm going to do a background check.
And guess what? They are in office. And they are in Lansing. It doesn't mean
that they live in the district that they claim they're in. I could name several.
No. I disagree
totally. So you're saying that...
I am saying that the people there today...
What's the guy who's on city council right now?
There's several, but...
the guy who has the same name as his father.
Cushionberry.
No. Well, that's another problem right there. Okay, so that's a good one too, right?
What about him? What are you saying?
What I'm saying
these people, these folk, let me say this. These folk were elected by citizens of Detroit. They put them in office. They didn't walk up there and sign a petition and just sit down in a chair.
Really?
The citizens of Detroit
I disagree with that too.
Well, they elected them.
You know what? Some citizens
elected them. That's right. That's right.
And then you have many of the ballots that people voted on that were disregarded.
They were flawed. That doesn't mean that it was a lie. That doesn't mean that people did anything illegal.
When they are flawed.
No, that doesn't mean anything that they were illegal. When those ballots are flawed,
they're supposed to be given a new ballot. How do we know those ballots were flawed?
How do you know that there was something illegally done?
Because the seal was broken.
That's all you got is the seal was broken, and they disregarded that pact. Because in writing,
and that's not good enough.
Then you have to go in and change it. You have to go in and change it.
One vote taken from one person is too many.
Anybody else who has a concern about it, you have to change the process. You got to start from scratch. You got to be proactive. No matter what we have to say today.
You're right. You
got
have to be proactive,
you got to be on top
regardless of
and
your
you can't
friendship
wait.
and your relationships. You should, you can, but you should not, and I'm not saying you as
of course,
I'm
I understand.
generally
Sure.
speaking. You should not just vote for a person based on a relationship.
But people do.
And all the time.
People do.
And you
politics
you,
101.
And
they
you're
say
on a sword,
like somebody.
And
that's right,
you're
baby.
carrying a sword.
That's right.
And
that's
willing to lay down
that's
on a
right.
sword and have the blood spread
That's
all
you
in
got
the
that
city
right.
of Detroit.
Every day.
All over the city
Every
of
day.
Detroit.
Because I know it is a righteous person that you're speaking
Oh,
of.
you are that.
Absolutely.
Fred Durhall
Absolutely.
III.
Absolutely.
Who used the same
Absolutely.
name as his father
Well,
on
it's
his
his
driver's
name.
license?
It's his name.
No, Fred Durhall Jr. is not his name.
His name
but
is
that
Fred
is the
Durhall.
name that was on his driver's license.
And Conyers used the same thing, and many folk.
But now
Bush
he
used the
uses
same
Fred
thing.
Durhall
hey,
III.
you do what you have to do. That's a good PR, a good marketing person in terms of politicians. I saw signs going out there, and they only had the last name. I said, that's a brilliant move. That was a brilliant move. It's a brilliant move, and we should learn how to do the same thing. If you want to win, you got to play the game, and you got to play it hard.
And that's a
you gotta
problem.
Be a pit
we have
bull.
too many games being
Right,
played
right,
on the people
right.
in the city of Detroit.
Well, obviously, now they're not picking it up. Only 20% of the people voted, so it's obviously
Not
it's
even
right.
20%.
I know, 15 to 18%.
In the
now
city,
that's the issue that we should be dealing with.
That's a major
issue.
But again, I
Major
go back
issue.
to
Major
I
issue.
go back to the fact that many people in the city of Detroit. I'm not going to sit there and blame 80% of the people who may not come out to vote and say that they were lazy. I'm not going to say that, because I'll tell you, there has been sometimes where I have said, you know what, this just doesn't make any sense.
I'm not blaming them. I'm saying the people who are deciding to run, it is there. Like you asked the question, how do we make a difference? I said that the person who wants to be in office, they need to be a pit bull as it relates to how you make a difference to get the other people out. That's who it rests on. It rests on the first. If I was running for an office,
absolutely, I agree
I
with
need
that.
to figure out how to get
But
more
don't
people
lie
to
in
run.
the process.
Who's lying? Who is lying? Tell me where the lie lies. Tell me what the lie is.
I've already told you. The
Where's
person
the lie?
that I ran against, the one that you're on the sword for.
Obviously, it's not a lie.
Just because
4 people just told you.
because he's still in office,
And he will be in office again.
Mean that he
did
is
not
a
lie.
liar.
He did not lie. Absolutely
And tell
not.
me how you know that.
Because he is in office, and he told me, and I believe him, and he lives where he says he lives.
Really?
He is right. He absolutely
Have you
does.
been there?
Absolutely.
Have you been to the
I've been
place
to
where we
fundraisers.
served him?
Oh, I don't go there. I don't even know what you're talking about in terms of where you served him. I know he lives
I
in
didn't
Detroit.
serve him, but
right?
I was
and
with
he
the person who
represents
did serve
us
him
well.
and looked
I'm in his
directly
district.
in the face.
I'm in his district.
You're in my district too.
That's right. I'm in the district, and I say that he's serving us well.
And I say he's not serving us well at all. Tell me what he's done to serve us well,
He's
ma'am.
working on the community. He works on legislation.
He
wait a minute.
you
See,
know
he's
what?
not.
I
He's
go
not.
to
He's
these
working on
meetings.
legislation. Right.
Lavonia Perryman.
He does.
You don't
He
go
does.
to these meetings. I
No.
go to all.
I don't have to go to
all
all the
these meetings.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
I'm there.
Right.
I'm in the community.
And what's happening at the meetings?
I'm working in these communities.
What is happening in the community?
I'll tell you what is not happening.
What's not happening?
Fred Durhall III.
No, he's doing the best that he can.
Absolutely. You are absolutely
Right.
certainly right.
Right. He's
and
doing
there are
what he
so
can.
many people who are in office who are doing the very best that they can for themselves.
I
and
wouldn't dare say that with
unfortunately,
him.
not for the people.
He is for the people. Has been.
Boy, you
Who's
carrying
brought
that
him.
water.
Absolutely, every day.
You carrying
Every
that
day.
water.
Absolutely. We'll do it tomorrow, too. We'll say it again. Someone asked, my representative, right? My representative. And we'll support him in terms of helping him make a difference. We have to get behind the person, whoever wins. Whoever that may be, we have to get behind that
I'm
particular
not getting
person.
behind a snake.
Well, then that's
and
on you.
obviously,
Right.
80% of us are not getting behind snakes.
I don't think that I would call people a snake. I think that what happens, if we continue to do that, we are not as a community joining together to make a difference. We make a difference by getting together and helping the person. If you believe that this person is not doing what he's supposed to do, call him on it. Call him on it.
No, it's not that he's not doing. Yeah, it is that he's not doing.
Call him on it. Help him move forward.
Well, yeah, move forward, right the hell.
All the
right
negative
the heck out of office. That's how we're gonna move.
Well, you got several years to wait on that, and that doesn't help the community overall.
2016,
right? But that doesn't help the community in between when we have negative conversations going on about the person when we could be in there trying to help. If we're going to go to the meeting, be the watchdog. Say, you know what? I'm watching you, and I will help you. This is where we should be. This is how we should be doing it every day. Get on the telephone, call his office up, and say, "Hey, I'm watching all this."
First of all, he shouldn't have an office. That's number one.
Why not? Why
I've
not?
already told you why not. I told you.
Obviously, it was not the truth.
And many people already know.
Many people put him in office.
That he does not live in the district.
He does.
You need to talk to the president and the board of Russell Woods.
He does.
Association.
He lives
you
there.
don't live in Russell
no,
Woods.
I don't.
But people
Annette
from
Rainwater
Russell
lives
Woods
in Russell
will
Woods.
Tell you,
right.
The people who are
Joanne
on the
Watson
board
lives in Russell
will
Woods.
tell you
right.
he does not.
He's there. And he represents us well.
So now you have heard. Now you have heard my very dear friend, Lavonia Perryman-Fairfax.
Right.
And Cynthia A. Johnson.
Born and raised here, went to St. Cecilia's, and I say again, get behind Mr. Fred Durhall,
you better not.
Our state representative.
You better not. You better not. Yeah, I'm telling you.
We help one another out. When we help one, we help all.
And we want to help people who are right and right for the people. This is Stand Up Now with Cynthia A. Johnson. We've had a very lively discussion. Miss Lavonia Perryman-Fairfax, I appreciate you so much.
I appreciate you, and call me back anytime.
On this show.
Not a problem.
Not if you're going to be supporting that person. We won't be calling you back very soon.
Well, I'll have to get my own half hour there.
Not there. That's what I'm talking about. Right. There you go.
All right.
Thank you so much, girl.
Thank you so very much for the invitation.
You're very welcome. God bless you all.
War and poverty. Wake up all the teachers, time to teach a new way. Maybe then they'll listen.
Gospel 1440 AM is